I bow to the Almighty in my mind, speech and body. Vanakkam, a quick recap. We are learning the alphabets or the Ezhuthukkal of the Tamil language. They are classified into Mudal Ezhuthukkal or the foundation letters and the Sarbu Ezhuthukkal or the dependent letters. Since we have seen these already, I am going to go a little fast here. We have started with the Mudal Ezhuthukkal, which are further divided into the Uyir Ezhuthukkal or the life letters and the Mei Ezhuthukkal or the body letters. The Uyir Ezhuthukkal are 12 in number from A to Au, and we have learned all of them. The Mei Ezhuthukkal or the body letters are 18 in number, and they are equivalent of the consonants of the English language. The Mei Ezhuthukkal are of three types. They are the Idaiyinam Ezhuthukkal or the hard consonants, the Mellinam Ezhuthukkal or the soft consonants, and the Idaiyina Ezhuthukkal or the medial consonants. The Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthukkal are ik, ich, it, ip, it, and we use a mnemonic ka, sa, da, ta, pa, ra to remember the sequence. The Mellinam Mei Ezhuthukkal are ing, inj, in, ind, im and in, and we use a mnemonic na, nya, na, na, ma, na to remember the sequence. Today we will see the Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthukkal. The Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthukkal are the medial consonants and they are 6 in number. They neither have a harsh sound nor do they have a soft sound. They have a medial sound. In the written form, all of the Mei Ezhuthukkal have a dot on them. Now, how do we manipulate the air that comes from inside with our natural instruments? If you can recall, when we pronounced the Uyir Ezhuthukkal, we did not block the air that comes from inside. When we pronounce the Idaiyina Ezhuthukkal, we block the air completely and release the air through the mouth after saying the Ezhuthu. And when we pronounce the Mellinam Mei Ezhuthukkal, we block the air and released some of it through the nose while saying the Ezhuthu, and this gave the soft nasal sound for the soft consonants. Now for the Idaiyina Ezhuthukkal, the air will be blocked by any of the natural instruments and the blocked air gets released through the mouth while saying the Ezhuthu. So we will move to the Ezhuthukkal. The first Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu is E, as how we say I-Y-E. And this is similar to the sound of the letters E-A in bean, bean, E. This is how it looks. So this is born when the rear end of the tongue almost touches the roof of the mouth and the air comes out of the mouth in the middle. So let's try E, E, and as you can see the air comes through the mouth. So as before, we will arrange the Idaiyina Ezhuthukkal in the order of the birth, and I am placing this Ezhuthu in the far end in the figure. So we will move to the next Ezhuthu. The second Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu is Ir, as the I-R, Ir in miracle, although we don't roll the R in English, but for the Tamil Ezhuthu we have to roll the R, Ir. To pronounce this Ezhuthu, we place the edge of the tongue against the palate and place the tip of the tongue on the front portion of the palate and allow the air to come through the middle. And that's how we get the rolling sound Ir. Now, if you can recall, the last Ezhuthu in the Vallinam series also had a similar rolling of the R, it or Ir. And I said that that Ezhuthu had a harsh rolling sound. Now in contrast, this Idaiyina Ir has a gentle roll of the R, Ir. In both cases, we allow the edge of the tongue to touch the roof of the mouth and the tip of the tongue touches the tip of the palate, and we allow the air to flow in the middle. Also note that when the rolling sound is produced, the tip of the tongue doesn't completely touch the roof of the mouth. The tongue kind of flutters against the roof of the mouth. It sort of touches and releases, so it flutters against the roof of the mouth. And so some argue that this Ezhuthu is actually born in the middle portion of the mouth. And to keep things simple, I will accept that argument and locate the birth of this eduthu in the mid portion of the mouth, and I place it accordingly in the figure. So this is the second Idaiyinam Mei Ezhuthu, and this is how it looks. We will move to the next eduthu. The third Idaiyinam Mei Ezhuthu is il, I-L, il, as the I-L in mill. And now we will place the tip of the tongue on the front portion of the palate and allow the air to come through the mouth in the sides, as I say il, and this is how it looks. As before, to indicate the place of birth, I have placed it after the ir in the figure. Now the fourth Idaiyinam Mei Ezhuthu is iv, as the IV in live, iv. Now we will place the lower lip against the teeth to block the air and allow some of the air to come through the mouth, as I say iv. This is how it looks, and I will place this eduthu after il in the figure. The fifth eduthu, the fifth Idaiyinam Mei Ezhuthu, is special to the Tamil language. It is the eduthu il, as in Tamil. Now in English we have only one L sound or one il sound. So there is no equivalent sound or letter in the English language for this il. So normally we use the I, ZH or ZH to represent this sound. Now if you can recall, we briefly visited this eduthu in the lesson 2 when we learned how to pronounce Tamil. So we will go over it again here. To pronounce this eduthu, we allow the edges of the tongue to touch the roof of the mouth, and we fold the tongue backwards and pull it in as if to touch the throat. Don't make any contact with the roof of the mouth, like that. Now in this position, we allow the air to flow through the mouth and nose, and that's how we get the sound. And this is how this eduthu looks. And because we have to fold our tongue when pronouncing this eduthu, I have placed it in a new figure with a bent tongue. That pink thing in the picture is supposed to be the bent tongue. Pardon me for my mediocre artistic skills. So I have placed this eduthu in the far end in the figure with the tongue bent inwards. The last and the final Idaiyina eduthu is il. Again, there is no equivalent sound for this eduthu in the English language. But to pronounce this eduthu, we fold our tongue and now we touch the middle portion of the palate and allow the air to come through the mouth. Like how I have shown in the figure, we bend the tongue and place it in the middle and we say il. So in accordance with the place of origin, I have placed this eduthu in the middle portion of the figure with the bent tongue. So now we have seen all the 6 Idaiyina Ezhuthukkal as I, ir, il, iv, il and il. Once again, the 6 Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthukkal are I, ir, il, iv, il and il. Now as you may have noticed, there are 3 il sounds in the Idaiyina Ezhuthukkal series. The 3rd, 5th and 6th Idaiyina Ezhuthu. And it is important to understand how to differentiate between these 3 ills and where to place the tongue when saying these 3 Ezhuthukkal. This picture here shows the placement of the tongue for the 3 ills. So we will revisit this now. For the 3rd Idaiyina Ezhuthu, which we just now saw, it is a simple il. So we simply place the tip of the tongue in the front portion of the palate, and that's how we said the il. Now for our practical purpose to understand this, we can refer to this il as the tip il, because I am placing the tongue on the tip of the palate. So I call this the tip il. The 5th Idaiyina Ezhuthu is ir, where we bent our tongue backwards and pulled it in as if we are touching the throat. So this we can refer to as the deep It makes a very deep throated sound. For the sixth Idaiyina எழுத்து il, I am using the capital L here. We fold our tongue and touch the middle portion of the palate and allow the air to come through the mouth, and we can refer to this as the middle il. So we had the il, and il. So these are the three ills of the Idaiyina எழுத்துக்கள் series. So now we will form a mnemonic using the corresponding உயிர்மெய் எழுத்துக்கள். Now when the dot on the மெய் எழுத்து is removed, we get an R sound attached to the எழுத்து and it becomes an உயிர்மெய் எழுத்து, which we will learn in detail shortly. So for now, let us see what happens when we remove the dot on the Idaiyina மெய் எழுத்துக்கள். When the dot on the E is removed, it becomes ya, Y-A, ya, as in yacht. When the dot on the ir is removed, it becomes ra, as the R-A in coral, ra. When the dot on the il is removed, it becomes la, as the L-A in lard, la. When the dot on the iv is removed, it becomes va, as the V-A in lava. And when the dot on the ir is removed, it just becomes ra, and when the dot on the il is removed, it becomes la. So you keep the tongue in the middle of the palate and you put a stroke motion over there. So it's la, as if you're stroking the palate, la. So now we get the mnemonic yarala varala, yarala varala, yarala varala. That forms a nice tongue twister, yarala varala. So the mnemonic for the Vallinam series was kasada tapara, the Mellinam was nganyana namana, and now for the Idaiyinam series we have yarala varala. So this mnemonic is used only to recollect the series. So when we have to recollect the Idaiyina எழுத்துக்கள், we simply remember yarala varala and we put a dot on each syllable and we arrive at e, ir, il, iv, and il. So now we will see how to write these Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthukkal. We will start with the first Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu, E. To write this, we start with a standing line and you come down and make a semicircle and you go up, come down, sleeping line and go up in a standing line and put a dot on the top. And this is the first Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu, E. Let's try this again. We start with a standing line, come down in a semicircle, go up, come down, sleeping line, go up in a standing line and put a dot on the top. And this is the first Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu, E. The second Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu is ir. To write this, we start with a standing line, sleeping line, another standing line and a slanting line, and we put a dot on the top. And this is the Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu, ir. Let's try this again. We start with a standing line, a sleeping line, standing line and a slanting line, and we put a dot on the top. And this is the second எழுத்து, ir. Let's move for the third. As per the mnemonic yarala, the third Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu is il. And to write that, we start with a small circle that goes clockwise, continue that to a semicircle, reverse directions and go up in a semicircle and put a dot on the top. And it's got beautiful curves. And this is the எழுத்து, il. Let's try this again. We start with a small circle that goes clockwise, go up in a semicircle, you reverse the direction and draw another semicircle and put a dot on the top. And this is the எழுத்து, il. Yaralava. The next Idaiyina Mei Ezhuthu is iv. To write that, we start with a small circle that goes clockwise, go up in a semicircle, sleeping line and go up in a standing line and put a dot on the top. And this is the எழுத்து, iv. Let's try this again. We start with a small circle that goes clockwise,
continue that to a semicircle and sleeping line and go up in a standing line and put a dot on the top, and this is the எழுத்து iv. After iv, ya, ra, la, va, ra, the deep il. And to write that, we start with a standing line, sleeping line, semicircle, come down, go out in a semicircle and draw a hook and put a dot on the top, and this is the எழுத்து il. Let's try this again. We start with a small standing line, sleeping line, a semicircle, go out in a semicircle and draw a hook, and we put a dot on the top, and this is the எழுத்து deep il. The last Idaiyinam Mei எழுத்து is il. Ya, ra, la, va, ra, la. So il. And to write this, we start with a small circle that goes clockwise, go up, semicircle, go up, sleeping line and standing line, and put a dot on the top. We came across this symbol when we wrote the நெடில் எழுத்து U in the உயிரெழுத்துக்கள் series, and also the எழுத்து AU in the உயிரெழுத்துக்கள் series. And now we write the symbol with a dot, and it is a middle il. Let's try this again. We start with a small circle that goes clockwise, go up in a semicircle, go up, sleeping line and standing line, and put a dot on the top. And this is the Idaiyina எழுத்து il. Let's write all of the 6 Idaiyina எழுத்துக்கள் together. So E, Ir, Il, Iv, Il and il. And these 6 form the Idaiyina Mei எழுத்துக்கள்.
And I encourage you to practice these at home, and we'll finish off the session here, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you and Nandri Vanakkam.